All right, now back to college football. We have a Week 3 matchup between Penn State and Auburn. This game is in Penn State. You know, I don't think Auburn's a pushover team. They're very average, maybe slightly above average at normal standards. I know last year was the pandemic, and let's face it, Gus Malzahn was a coach that needed to go for a long time now from Auburn. And Bo Nix has not lived up to his expectations, and I don't think he's going to do it this year either. So it's very hard to say Auburn's going to be a great team this year. I don't even think they're ranked, are they? Not that it matters. Penn State's ranked. They're ranked in the top 25. I forgot their actual ranking. I'll go ahead and look it up. I know all the other teams. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not doing a Penn State-Wisconsin prediction, because that's actually before the Auburn game, simply because I don't care for Wisconsin. Penn State football. Nothing against Wisconsin. That's tough. Maybe I'll do a Wisconsin-Notre Dame game later this year. I know those guys have a matchup somewhere. All right. What is Penn State ranked? I can't find it. Anyway, not important. Look, Penn State had a bad year last year. They started 0-5. They won their last 4 games. But this itches. I don't know why. I'm going to stop scratching because it looks weird. They're going to come back and have a really good football team this year. Outside of Ohio State, I don't see, and maybe Wisconsin, just because Wisconsin's always a good team, I don't see Penn State losing to anybody else this year. I think Penn State's going to have a really good season. They'll at least make a New Year's Six game. I don't think Auburn can beat them just because Auburn, you know, I've seen Auburn play football a lot, and the thing is, you're bringing in a new coach, new coaching staff. This is their first year there with a guy out of Boise State. I don't know, remember his name. So I think Auburn, to win this game, they're going to have to play a perfect game. They cannot have penalties in this game. Their defense has to be lights out, which it was not last year. You know, you also lost Big Cat on that big defensive line. He's gone. That doesn't help your chances. And it's at Penn State. If this game was at Auburn, that might be a different story because they could probably get lucky and win that game if they play at their best potential. But, you know, it's just Penn State, you know, they've gotten better every year outside of the fluke. I'll say it's a fluke season last year for a lot of teams, especially Penn State. And look at that. Penn State won 4 games in a row with backup players. I think their best defensive lineman didn't even play last year. They still won a bunch of games in a row. I think Penn State wins this game by at least 2 touchdowns. It won't be a blowout game. It's not going to be an easy game. Auburn's going to be in this game the whole time. They'll be in their face. They're going to play hard. Defense, I think, is going to be better than what it was last year. It's at Penn State for 1. Number 2, Bo Nix has never been that impressive, and he's not going to be impressive this year. 3, again, Bo Nix, he's probably going to throw a pick or 2 in this game because if you're playing at Happy Valley, it's always very hard to win there, you know, unless you're Ohio State, and even then it's still going to be somewhat challenging. 4, I don't think Auburn's running game is going to be that great this year, you know. It's not going to be explosive. 5, again, Penn State's bringing back basically their whole team that played last year, so you know they're going to be a lot better. Number 6, both teams have had a full fall camp to work with, so Penn State's going to be better based off of that. And 7, again, coaching staff. Coach Franklin for Penn State, he's been there for a while. He's recruited. He's been able to establish himself a lot better than Auburn has as far as their coaching staff goes. So you'd be crazy to pick Auburn to win this game, you know. You know, honestly, even if this was at Auburn, I think Penn State could still beat them. That's just how I feel. I think this game will be 28-17, Penn State. Something like that, you know, 2 touchdowns. It's not going to be a blowout win because, again, Auburn's never a pushover team. Even last year's Auburn wasn't a terrible team. It just wasn't a very good team. They couldn't play with the elite teams. I think Penn State's underrated this year. I think they're at least a top 10 team, maybe even a top 5 team if they play to their full potential. But who knows? But I got Penn State. I got the Nittany Lions over the Auburn Tigers.